Hi guys, I'm back. Yay! I know I've just had so much on. What an event this was. Charles Oliveira has absolutely, I think, just stunned everyone again. What an amazing performance that was. It's a lot to comprehend, isn't it? He seems to have reached another level, and everyone thought he was kind of maybe at the end of his prime. But I think we're all wrong, and wow. So I'm probably just gonna cover, the co-main and main for this card and maybe some extra pieces. I think everyone was expecting a much more competitive fight for Charles Oliveira versus BENEIL DARIUSH. There was nothing really too competitive about it, I thought. The commentators during the fight sort of said it was BENEIL's round, but I don't think it was. I've watched it a couple of times now. And Oliveira was just landing that leg kick, kind of like Leon Edwards style on BENEIL, and he wasn't expecting it. I get a feeling BENEIL Dariush came to this fight with a game plan similar to, maybe similar to even Islam's or who was before that. I don't know, he came in with his own game plan, but it was based off a Charles Oliveira that he maybe saw in the Islam fight. And as Charles said, that was not that was not him. He didn't turn up for that fight. So I think he was a little bit caught off guard by the changes in Oliveira's striking and pretty much everything he did. He changed, a lot of his kicking and striking combinations, and I don't think BENEIL was ready for it. Another thing I think was that BENEIL Dariush was not ready for maybe the length of Oliveira. When he missed those strikes on the ground, when he hit the canvas, when he was on top, he sort of he seemed to be not used to the body or the physicality or even maybe the way that Charles Oliveira moves so fluidly, like kind of like a cat or something like that. And you could tell that he was not expecting that. And I think he wasn't expecting Oliveira to be so strong. Like, how strong must he be if he can just finish him off with those strikes from where he was in ground and pound? They didn't seem like, they didn't seem like big shots. He must hit like a truck. It's really fascinating. That's one thing I've kind of learned about Oliveira, is that he has this body type. He must have like really short tendons or something, so he has more muscle fiber, so he looks leaner, but he's still extremely muscular. And he's very flexible, so he has the perfect body type for MMA. And the way Oliveira moved, he was just coming forward and never taking a back step. And I think, like everyone knows that Oliveira fights like that, but I don't think BENEIL Dariush was expecting that either. And I think it's like one of those circumstances when you don't know until you know, until you're in there with Oliveira. So it was a typical kind of Oliveira fight in the end. Kind of even more impressive though, because I don't think Oliveira really had much adversity in that fight. He was the one that dragged BENEIL down into his guard. I think he wanted to get on top, but he still those blows from underneath, like he's just crazy. He's always got offense everywhere. I don't think BENEIL really got going, but then again, Oliveira exposes the fight style of a lot of fighters, I think. Because a lot of fighters are used to taking little mini breaks, a little time to sort of, just stall the fight. But Oliveira takes all of those opportunities up, and he will just like take complete advantage of it. Yeah. So going into this fight, I did have both of these men being equally matched. I thought skill for skill they were pretty on par. Maybe Oliveira's slight edge in the striking. Clearly he keeps improving. Really tough loss for BENEIL, because I think we were all expecting him to win some way, and we kind of thought, maybe Oliveira's over his prime, or coming out of his prime, but we're all wrong. It's probably better for BENEIL to lose like this instead of losing earlier, because if he had got a title shot earlier, he probably would have just lost then as well. There's just something about Charles Oliveira. He has that confidence. He's like got all the ingredients you need to be someone really great in mixed martial arts. He has all the skills, he has the spirituality, he has the showmanship, and the comfortability being in these situations. Like, he looks so comfortable in the cage, and he has a lot of tactics he uses, because I've noticed that every time he fights, he gets right into his opponent's personal space, like gives him a hug, and that's really weird. And I'm sure that kind of gets into his opponent's heads in a way that they can't even explain because they're invading the opponent's space. And I think that helps him a lot too. And he's also, he's very comfortable, and he just thrives in the limelight. And I think all of those ingredients, when they come together, also probably, I guess, being really extroverted, he just has everything that he needs that enables him to just do really great things. Because if you're fully comfortable in a fight, you can just do so much more. You hear fighters talk about, oh, I can do much more than that, and it's probably because they're not fully comfortable in the octagon and performing yet. And I think Oliveira, his advantage is that he's had so many fights now and had so many failures and so many wins. I think that now he understands that he's just got to be himself and go out there. But I don't think anyone was expecting this to happen. Like, I did think that Oliveira would win. If he was going to win, it would be early on and BENEIL later. But I didn't expect BENEIL to sort of just wilt under everything that Oliveira was doing. And he didn't seem to really have much of an answer for those leg kicks. And he just... I guess BENEIL's striking isn't maybe too effective against another fighter who has like the jiu-jitsu to match him or better him. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, what else to say? I think we need to see the rematch between Oliveira and Islam. I'll be very interested to see how that rematch goes. I think if anyone did have like the ingredients to beat Oliveira, though, it is Islam. So, but can you imagine how great Oliveira will become, like even greater than what he is now if he beats Islam? He would definitely be the greatest lightweight of all time. And to be fair, he's almost comparable to Khabib in a way, in my opinion, because Khabib only defended his belt once a year, whereas Oliveira, I think, defended his belt something like 3 times over 1 year. But anyway, it's all debatable and it doesn't really matter. But just imagine what it would be for Oliveira and the sport if he could beat Islam. That would be epic. For Dariush, I think it sucks a bit, but he's an interesting guy. They're both like got a lot of faith in God or their religions or whatever you want to call it, but I think their approaches are different. Like, I think BENEIL is a little bit more passive. He'll be like, well, I'll just see what God wants, kind of thing. But I think Oliveira is more embracing like his destiny and be like, no, I'll be the master of my destiny. Whereas Dariush is a bit more, I'll see what happens. And I think that if you're going to really embrace your destiny and take control of your destiny, you're always going to win, because I think it takes 2 to tango in that sense, where if you want to use God or something higher power to get somewhere, you've got to also take action and tell God what you want. Say, this is who I am. It's a 2-way thing. It's not just a 1-way thing, I think, in that sense. And I think that really... that's where you see champions come out, like Oliveira did. Interesting too that he was quite emotional in the walkout and it didn't seem to really affect him. Like, he knows how to switch on and off it when it's fight time. Oliveira's like crazy. He almost looks like he's too big for lightweight, but he seems to have got his weight cut sorted out. So very interested to see what happens with the rematch with Islam Makhachev. Yeah, I was kind of like not really a fan of Oliveira, and I kind of hated it when he beat Dustin Poirier in that title fight. But now I'm like, yeah, definitely a fan. Takes a while for some people to wear on you, I guess. But how can you deny him now? Yeah, so Amanda Nunes retires after defeating Irene ALDANA. I know a lot of people shit all over this fight, saying it was, boring, or it was a mismatch or whatever, which it kind of was a mismatch, but I still enjoyed it. I thought that Amanda had the perfect strategy against ALDANA, who just wanted to get going with the boxing. But the way that Amanda Nunes fought, she didn't really get any boxing combinations together. Like, she got one together, and that's when she got hit by ALDANA in the first round. But then she's like, okay, can't do that. She just would mix up like a combination with a punch and a kick or something, or it's a fake takedown. And I think that was just too much for ALDANA to comprehend. I don't really think she was gun shy. I think she was just uncomfortable with the style of fighting. She must be such a boxer that she's not really fully attuned to mixed martial arts, I think. I didn't research this fight. I'm not sure what her skill set is, but I got the feeling that she was competent at boxing, but not really many other areas. And I think because of that, she was not comfortable. She didn't know how to react with the combinations. Amanda Nunes was being very creative, and I don't think people really gave her enough credit for that. And she knows how to win. She knows the easiest way to win against her opponents, and I know she's well ahead of most of the bantamweights, but she's still very, very clever in the way she executes. Like, she doesn't take unnecessary paths to victory. Sometimes that made her a bit of a less entertaining fighter, but I think I've learned to appreciate her as like the athlete and mixed martial artist she is. A lot of people are pissing on this main event, saying, oh, it needs to be bigger. You know, Oliveira and Dariush is the fight that everyone wanted to see, which is true, but I still think Amanda deserved the main event. I think the biggest, I guess, downside was that she's not really a megastar or a real sort of draw in a way, and that kind of doesn't get you very excited about her fights. I know a lot of people don't like Juliana Pena as well. I enjoy her trash talk and bitching and all that. I think she's fun. So I was kind of looking forward to that fight, even though she probably would get beat up again. But you gotta respect women's MMA. Like, I don't want to hear more people like putting it down. It's like, duh, of course it's not as advanced as men's MMA. You got less women fighting. It's a younger sport, although it's not much younger. But most women don't fight. Most women aren't into fighting, so there's less of a pool of talent. You don't have to put down women's MMA at all. There's no point. Just wanted to say that. Now, I'm happy Amanda's retired. You could kind of tell she wasn't fully... You could tell she was a bit like, oh yeah, just another fight, blah. You could tell it was time for her mentally, and at least she did it while she was on top. I think also it'll be fun now to see how the bantamweight division, I guess, levels itself out now. The featherweight division, I guess, is, you know... I mean, that is, like, not really existent, so it wouldn't be bad to see that go for now, until there's more athletes available at featherweight for the women. Bantamweight definitely, needs a bit of work. We just need more fighters, that's it, really. Focus more on flyweight and strawweight. Get an atomweight division in there, I think. There must be much more women in atomweight. Yeah, but a great career by Amanda. Definitely deserved, you know, to be called the GOAT, and people can say what they like about women's MMA and all that shit, but they can go get. So what next for IRENE ALDANA? I think, I don't know, like, she hasn't really been fighting at bantamweight the last few years anyway, so maybe go fight, like, she could go fight in PFL or those other organizations where they have better they have a real featherweight division, or she could hang around and round out her game. But I just get the feeling that she's more of a boxer, so she can do what she wants with that. I think I'd like to see Juliana Pena fight for the Bantamweight Belt. Even though she's young in the sport in a way, I think she's fun and she is clever, even though she got beat up by Amanda Nunes, but I like it. Okay? Just wanted to shout out Steve Erceg, Astro Boy. I mentioned him in a different breakdown or something, but I can't remember what it was. So yeah, he defeats, what's his name? That top 10 flyweight guy, David Dvorak. So yeah, that was pretty incredible. I think he was a last minute opponent for the person that David Dvorak's opponent, and he came in up against the top 10 flyweight and wins. He fought really well. It was a unanimous decision. So he's like a really talented flyweight out of Australia who I've been watching. He was out for a while, I think due to injuries, but he defended his belt a few times here on the regional scene. He's really good. I think it'll take him maybe a few fights to really sort of get used to the new level, but he's got a lot of potential. He's only 27. He's kind of one of those flyweights that is a natural flyweight, not someone that kind of cuts all this weight to get down there. Like, he's quite sort of, there's so many guys that are tweeners, like between bantamweight and flyweight, but I think Astro Boy is kind of definitely a real flyweight, kind of like Kai Kara France. I would sort of call him a real flyweight. So yeah, look forward to watching his career. Yes, that's about it. I'll get back to doing breakdowns and stuff, maybe, over the next month or whatever. But thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you around the traps.